Across the West, native species and their habitats have been adversely affected by years of drought conditions and the arid nature of these environments. There are areas where food resources may be available, but if there is not adequate water, wildlife may not be able to thrive there. My name is Erica Flom, and I'm the Executive Director of the Water for Wildlife Foundation. The goal or mission for the Water for Wildlife Foundation is to work to preserve and protect both habitat and wildlife in areas lacking the most vital resource of all, water. Starting in 1975, water development projects were completed primarily for the benefit of pronghorn antelope in the western United States. The Water for Wildlife Foundation has successfully improved the distribution of antelope herds and all-important fawn survival rates. Over the last 2 decades, the program and projects completed have expanded to include projects benefiting not only pronghorn antelope, but all big game species, upland game birds, waterfowl, and numerous non-game species of mammals and birds. Water is also necessary for wetlands and riparian communities, which support the greatest variety of wildlife in the West. Projects are developed from many different water sources, placing solar-powered pumps on existing wells, improving natural springs or artesian wells through the construction of underground storage facilities, construction of guzzlers to trap and store available water from snowmelt and rain, restoration of slough and marsh habitats, stock tank overflow, pond construction or reconstruction, improving wildlife vegetation around pre-existing water sources. One of the keys to success is the close cooperation with state game and fish departments, the Bureau of Land Management, and other state and federal agencies, and other nonprofit conservation groups to ensure the proper placement and design of projects to achieve maximum benefit. Recently, the Water for Wildlife Foundation helped fund an ambitious project in the Ferris Mountains of central Wyoming. This project involved installing 4 guzzlers in remote, steep, rugged terrain to benefit the growing Ferris Seminole bighorn sheep herd. Between 2009 and 2017, the Wyoming Game and Fish Department transplanted 123 bighorn sheep into the Ferris and Seminole mountain ranges. The Ferris Seminole herd currently consists of approximately 150 sheep. They are doing well in their new homes, but can do even better with improved water distribution. Currently, water sources on the upper portions of the mountain are very limited, resulting in long travel distances to permanent water sources. These daily treks can result in increased predation levels on wild ungulates, particularly fawns, calves, and lambs. By installing water sources near preferred bighorn sheep lambing cover and escape terrain, we hope to increase the survival of bighorn ewes, lambs, and rams. You can imagine that in a landscape like this, transporting heavy materials is a challenge. The Bureau of Land Management coordinated transport of the guzzlers, aprons, and other supplies to installation sites by helicopter. On July 21st, over 42 people representing a variety of organizations joined forces at the base of the Ferris Mountains and hiked up the steep, rugged slopes to install the 4 guzzlers. We accessed the remote sites by foot and installed the guzzler in less than 1 day without any mechanized equipment. Just hand tools and lots of sweat. There are 3 main parts to this type of guzzler. First, there is a guzzler tank itself, a dome-top rectangular plastic tank with walk-in steps that holds 1,000 gallons of water. Second, there is the apron, which is a heavy-duty plastic material located upslope of the guzzler that collects rainwater and snow. Third, there is a pipe that moves water from the apron to the tank. Completed guzzlers were camouflaged with natural materials found near the site, including dead trees and rocks, to help them blend into the wilderness surrounding them. When you have a lot of people who want to get something done, they can literally move mountains together. This project was a product of several generous funders, including the Wyoming Wild Sheep Foundation, the Wyoming Governor's Big Game License Coalition, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Bow Hunters of Wyoming, and the Water for Wildlife Foundation. The participants who provided technical expertise, manual labor, and other support to install the guzzlers represent the Bureau of Land Management, Wyoming Game and Fish Department, Water for Wildlife Foundation, Bow Hunters of Wyoming, Wyoming Chapter of Wild Sheep Foundation, Sweetwater River Conservancy and Pathfinder Ranches, and many other members of the Wyoming community who value wildlife conservation. Personally, as a Wyoming native and growing up with a family that was involved in ranching and still is, I was taught the importance of hunting, wildlife, land management, wildlife management from a very early age. And it wasn't until I went to my first water project out past South Pass City, the most arid part of that country, and we're walking, and I could not see where this guzzler was. I kept asking, "Are you sure we're going in the right direction?" And they assured me that we were, and all of a sudden, in this flat terrain was this most amazing oasis, and wildlife was definitely flourishing there. There was vegetation, water, and it was a game changer for me. And from that day forward, I see the importance. I always knew that we were an arid state, but I see the importance that bringing water and creating that consistency provides for wildlife.